Hey, all you cool cats and gamers! Welcome to No Category Left Behind, the GDQ Hotfix show that showcases category extension speedruns. I'm your host, Nuclear, and tonight we've got some Final Fantasy 15. We've got 3 different category extensions we're going to be showing off here. Super excited about this one. But before we get started, I do have a couple announcements. Frost Fatale's 2023 prize submissions are open now until Monday, February 20th. Go to gamesdonequick.com for more information or use command prizes in Twitch chat to submit your prizes. So if you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel and comment your favorite food, because we all know with Kaios and Alfina on, the discussion will be degenerate into food. It will maybe be degenerate, I don't know, but definitely food will be involved. Anyways, enough about that. Let's get into the run. Kaios, take it away.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how degenerate are you expecting? I thought this was a family-friendly channel.
It's just family-friendly degeneration, I guess. As much as GDQ will allow.
Who? That's about it. But hi, But I brought my good friend Final Fantasy 15 today. We're going to be running a couple of one major category that's seen actually quite a bit of change over the past couple of days. And one smaller category that used to be a thing that I think would be interesting to play around with. And then we got, I just have like a practice of a boss fight that I do. Very nice, Emmy. I also brought my friend Alfina. Alfina?
Hi.
Good.
Well, I'm going to talk plenty over the next however long we're here. Do I need to like ramble on now?
Yes.
I don't know what to ramble on.
Yeah, I had some decent gnocchi for dinner. Do you want to start with gnocchi? Talk about my favorite pastas.
I had a really good turkey and spinach wrap for lunch. Really good.
That actually does sound really good. I did not have lunch.
With some cucumber salad.
You hit it with that balsamic?
Mm-hmm.
Ayo. All right. Shall we get this going? Are we doing... I assume we're doing AMG first, yeah?
Yeah, let's get going.
Alrighty. Run starts as usual. Wow. That's cool. I just noticed something that's a little bit... I'm going to have to adapt to this on the fly. My GPU memory is like hyper low right now. Anyway, in 3, 2, 1, go. If you're seeing the game and it looks muddy, do not worry. There are certain sacrifices that must be made to go fast. One of those is graphics. I have them all set to off. All of the graphics. It's like 4 pixels. That's all you get. Yeah, no, that's weird. My memory usage is about 10-15% less than it normally is. So I'm cool with it. Just means it should work a little bit better. Yeah, it just means I can lag it quicker.
Yeah. Just
No, that's not even finished. That's sitting over in the corner. Anyway.
So yes, you do see there are statistics on the corner of the screen that you can kind of keep up with it. That's there because we do need them. Mostly for Kyo to be able to keep track of everything, to make a lot of the insanity, I'm going to go with that word, that you're going to see happen. Because yes, our goal today is to break the game in all the best ways. There will be some warnings if you have photosensitivity.
There will be some very bright screens at some point. I'll try and give y'all a heads up as quick as I can.
So.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to be the prettiest picture of Final Fantasy 15 you have ever seen, but, gotta do what you gotta do.
To make up for it, there will be chocobos.
Waiting on a third-party tool to preload GPU RAM to lag things quicker? Maybe. I feel like that would still create like a performance advantage, though. Well, at least it would create like a pretty massive pay-to-win scenario. Because realistically, with like, I don't know, like a 3090 or something, you could load almost half the game right into it and smash it through with like direct storage. Kind of how Forspoken does it. Anyway, so here's a song that I'm just going to talk over because you don't need to hear it. In fact, it's probably better that you don't hear it. I've heard this song about 5,000 times. Here are some true facts about Grant Anthony O'Brien. Just kidding. That's also inappropriate for this stream. But anyway, we're going to start the game as per usual. We're going to be just, pushing a car down the road. You will see a lot of weird camera movements. All of it is literally just to keep the FPS counter as high as possible. I'll give you a rundown on the side. FPS, well, we all know what that is. That's frames per second. System memory doesn't really come into play here. It's just like a weird statistic that the in-game thing gives you. The important thing for me to keep a look on are the next two, though, which is GPU memory load and disk speed load. In what we're going to be doing, if you're a fan of like older retro like cartridge-based speedruns, you'll know about something called either like stack overflow or a menu buffer. Where what I'm basically in the simplest terms I can explain this without turning into a total nerd is basically I'm just overloading the menus until it doesn't know where it's at, which is what happens with a lot of older cartridge-based games. You do enough actions that they run out of space and then just starts overwriting in places it doesn't belong. Yeah, Blue Tail. Except this time I'm not going to turn it into a mercy kill run by forgetting one thing. No, I won't shed
And
a
we've
tear.
got some new tricks so that it also doesn't suffer.
Yep, a lot safer now.
Yeah.
Now, the waiting
There
game.
are new things,
never liked that
even
game.
if
Never
you
really
saw it
good
last
at it
time. We brought this to Hotfix.
Hey, shout outs to D-Wins who helped teach me the new method with Chitose like 3 days ago. Sorry
Y'all
I
ain't never been
beat
out
your
this way
times.
before, have ya? Go on, have a look around.
Just
to
like
make
this
sure y'all don't get
third
lost.
try. Anyway, this is Cindy. We'll say hi to Cindy. She's actually going to be very useful for our run this year, or this time around. She's actually probably one of the most important party members. Where
Normally she's, ignored.
I suggest we confer with Cindy.
Okay, I'm going to try and square up on her and then get ready to menu.
Insult to injury.
Old man's in for both after charging.
Perfect.
She ain't gonna be ready for a while. Y'all need something?
It is also my favorite version of Stand By Me, and no questions should be asked ever.
Old man's got his eye on you, Knocked. Show him what you got.
Don't even have to look anymore. All right, we're off to a good start.
But don't go running around after
When
dark.
one of us win, we all
Kids are
win.
liable to
That's
rip
the
y'all to
right
shreds.
attitude, my guy.
This ought to be enough for a place to stay. Just between us.
Oh yeah,
though.
I'd be
Don't tell
absolutely
Papa.
copyright stricken. Hey yo. It judo. No questions? Nah, I got time. I'm one of those runners, like, I love multitasking, so if you have questions, just throw them in the chat, and I'll try and get to them as I can.
Yeah, and you've got Keo is definitely watching chat. I'm definitely watching chat, and I'm sure Nuclear's also watching chat.
I'm definitely watching chat, so
Ooh,
we
what are
will
you
see
doing
the
over here,
questions.
man? My guy over here just taking a long walk off a short beer.
Excellent work. On we go.
And we between Kios has run this so many times, and I've done commentary for this so many times, I kind of like start forgetting what to talk about at different points in time. So questions are incredibly welcomed.
We could talk about shower socks.
No, can we let these things die? Can we please let certain things die?
Maybe. How about these Reaper Tail? Just gonna pick our way through these really quick. This is just like the tutorial battle, and I'm gonna press a little bit too hard trying to turn there and open up the menu. We'll need that menu later, but
Let's
don't
get on
worry.
with it.
Yeah, what's up, Unnatural? So what we got to do here is just basically take out some varmints, and then we're gonna have to go find Dave. And Dave's an all right feller. But this is just a real rough introduction to what you're going to be seeing. My equipment, for the most part of the run, is going to stay pretty much the same because we're not actually going to have to access the menu too much. You're going to see Ragnarok staying on the right side because of its absurdly high warp damage. Our levels are going to be so low, I need a way to do damage. We will, for the most part, keep the Blazefire Saber 15 at the bottom. That gives us, I think, like 7 or 8 extra MP, which will become absolutely important.
Only this time, it's for a person. Fella named Dave.
Yeah,
I'm
the
gonna
classic.
Go through a couple questions that I've seen in chat.
Go ahead.
The music that Kyo has listened to the most in the car, I'm gonna pretty much go ahead and call it as Near Automata.
Yeah, or
Why?
13. Because
Kyo likes to get that stuck in my head.
Needs us to find some Dave guy.
And so we'll sometimes put it on purposefully just to mess with me.
Go on.
What's this?
My point. Or was there? I refuse to allow shower socks to be explained. All of you who want that explained can. Sorry, go.
Go.
You don't wanna know.
You just don't. It's like
You really
horrible
don't wanna
Eldritch
know.
knowledge. You once you know about it, you can't unforget it. And good stack. Good stack.
So the version of 15 that we're running, it's the Windows edition, which those of you who bought it on console, this would be the Royal edition.
With
That's
a
going to give us
handful of
access to
DLC.
things. Yeah, that's going to give us the access to the like Ragnarok that we're using. Is you do need at least the Royal edition to make that happen, as well as some of the bosses that we're going to fight requires the Royal edition. Which is the Windows edition. And of course, since we're doing this on PC, that's just the version that
But
we
look who's
have.
in here. The
And the armor was a free DLC back when the game was
1.13.
1.3?
It was either 1.3 or 07. It was fairly early.
Because originally it was going to be a paid item, I believe, and then there was kind of this whole copyright battle. And to make it not a copyright battle, we just kind of went. They kind of went here. It's now free for everybody, because it might look similar to some other armor that you've seen in movies and stuff. You know,
Way to show some
things.
spunk. Now let's get ready to kick some tail.
Did I catch all of those questions? I think I did.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, there we
Hey,
go.
we can talk about skips in this game. Well, at least like dialogue skips. Because we're working up
yeah.
to the first real actual trick of the run. Put it on the board.
Some of the skips that we use in every category of the run, including this one, like how we just did, you know you got it when nothing happens.
Ta-da.
That's because nothing happened. We know we got that skip correctly. If we hadn't gotten it, then
Over there. That's it, right?
we would have been stopped by Iggy, who would have been like, "Hey, maybe we should rest." And I look at him and go, "It is not even noon, sir."
Listen, I can clock out at any point.
What? Scared, big guy?
You ought to be too.
But
Thing's vicious.
You sure?
yeah.
Looks tame to me. Yeah.
That's so because nothing happened, we did it correctly. That's kind of the sign. Now, we will be seeing other tricks in this run that are not the simple, you know you did it right because nothing happens. No, we shall break it. Don't worry. You have no worries that we are not able to break it.
Too quick.
To it.
Yes, Kyo is taking pictures on purpose.
Ring, ring.
Don't worry about it. It's
Hello?
fine.
Hey, Dave just called and said he's safe. Thanks for finding him.
Okay.
Nice work, y'all. By the way, the old
I
goblin is
always
good.
love in this
Oh,
little
while
like
I
mini
got ya, if
cutscene
y'all wanna fix it up
watching what the
before you
boys
roll
do.
out, let me know.
Like they just always seem to like get in your face randomly.
Yeah, the AI is going to be.
Sounds good.
It'll be functioning by the time we're done.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Rock and roll.
All right, cool. So we're going to make use of a couple of travel mechanics throughout the run. What I just used right there was basically during this, in the game, you get 2 ways to fast travel. Technically 3 if you want to be like real about it. One of them we won't use, but it's return to entrance. Like if you're in a dungeon, sometimes you can warp back out. Your other 2 options are return to car or return to rest point. Which allows us to do quite a few things, basically having like 2 points we can anchor to.
Before I forget, would you mind
The
making a
dialogue
little
choices
delivery
up
for me?
until now have been really focused on just getting AP.
We're a little
I
busy.
need to get as much AP as possible, and I need
Thought you'd
to
say yes.
make sure I get as much as possible, because a few mistakes and I end up without the ability to get the last item I need
If
for the
y'all
run.
wouldn't mind giving that to the owner, that'd be swell.
Grandpa like grandkid.
A little bit of duct tape and a lot of hope,
Now that she's all
Bato.
polished up and ready for the road,
Hey, hi, Dad.
would you care to take her for a little test drive, Noct?
Dad's in
Shout-
chat.
Yeah, he is. Shout outs to Adam and Steve, too.
Sure. Why not?
And
Also, I
knew
guess
we'd
shout
remind
outs
you
to Adam and Eve,
exercise
even though we don't fight them anymore in Nier Automata, we just leave.
caution. Everything in order?
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna sell off a few things quickly here while the car's not really going anywhere. Anyway,
Let's see. So in this point in time, we're supposed to be heading to Golden
Hammerhead is
Cay
like no
and going to
garage
this rest
ever.
area and doing all
know?
of these
One would expect
things,
no
but
less of purveyors to the crown.
this is my
once this
favorite
road trip's
category
over with.
because
There's no reason
We don't-
you can't
we
pay
don't
them a
do all of
visit
that.
anytime you please. I'm sure Cindy will be glad to look at
most
your
importantly,
car.
we don't talk to
Oh,
Dino.
Right.
anyway, I saw someone
That's what
mention
this is
Final
about.
Fantasy 13 for no reason. Just here to remind you that FF10 is just as linear.
Mentioned it
Offer, but
first.
once we're back in the Crown City,
Anyway,
That's why it came up, is because you mentioned it first.
yeah, I said the music was good. What's the problem?
Yeah.
The music's
That's
good.
what started it. The music is good.
The music is absolutely good. It's a spectacular use of leitmotif, which I think is
I
something
still-
that should be used more commonly in video games.
I still haven't gotten around to playing it. I need to, but I've listened to a lot of the music, and the music is good.
let's call it a
Chat,
day.
you've been
I'll see what I
good.
can whip up.
I will allow you to have one pizza party. Just have to wash your hands first, okay?
What kind of pizza, though?
Listen, I'm from Philly. I will eat anything.
Good answer.
I am firmly in the camp of pineapple on pizza is totally fine. Just add a complimentary salty protein to it, and it's
Yes.
all good. Life's too short to complain about pizza.
Peaceful out here.
Dark
Cool.
and quiet
So,
reveals
I
so
mentioned the
much,
whole rest point thing.
hidden by
We
loud
have an
city
anchor
lights.
now. We have a second anchor.
Good. But I'm more concerned about the things hiding.
But I'm going to finish this drive here. I have a few. I'm going to try and focus on getting some of the rest of this stuff sold off. But
Why not? Because
if I
you're
don't, it's not a big deal.
What? Princess can't enjoy the outdoors.
I am not allowed to play Final Fantasy XIV or any other MMORPG unless I get a signed physical contract for at least 4 figures, or Square Enix personally asked me to do it as a favor to them.
He was not allowed.
I
Play
have a
MMOs.
horrible, uncontrollable addiction to MMORPGs, and I stopped playing them 10 years ago, and I've never gone back. Sometimes, when you know, you know. Anyway, I don't need any of this food. I don't need any of those extra weapons. I don't need those barbs. Money should be
We
pretty
don't
cool.
need most things.
All I need is 2 Phoenix Downs so I don't look like an idiot, a sweet pepper, a choco bean, and to completely drive past this point where I'm supposed to stop. Cool. See you later.
Bye.
Anyway, how do y'all feel about walls?
What was that?
You like walls?
Apologies.
You want to look at one real close? Any fans of the back
Can we
rooms in chat?
admire the look at those beautiful stones and everything right there. They were there. That's a picture of grass. That was a picture of grass.
Mm-hmm. It was very good.
But I wanted to look at the stones.
Anyway, welcome to the back rooms. I'll be your host, Kios. And, yeah. Walls are just suggestions.
Sorry.
You know what? Wrong menu. It's all right. I'll just do it backwards. It's fine.
That's the rough idea about this run.
Rising.
Yep, pretty much. I touch grass and I get teleported around things. So the easiest way to kind of explain what goes on there is we basically, when you change the frame rate lock or significant, but not significant enough to reboot the entire game, changes within the graphics setting of the menu, it forces the game to reload its surroundings. That gives us enough time. If you're familiar with how the speed tech and portal speedruns work, that allows us to go out of bounds and move while the game is still loading. And we want to get either far enough that we end up on that upper area like I did. I was trying and have been kind of trying to perfect a new technique where I don't actually land up there. I just loop around hard enough and end up on the road on the other side. It's not 100% consistent yet, but we basically just use the fact that the game is a little bit chunky to load to allow ourselves to move within a loading screen. It's pretty cool. It's going to get a lot worse after this. Theoretically, if you were to be like, okay, Kios, where are you now? We went from about chapter 1. We went from chapter 1 to this would be somewhere around the start of chapter 5.
5?
Yeah, because 5 you get dropped off. 4's after Titan. 5 you get dropped off at the Chocobo post with no car, and they expect you to do Deadeye, and then we just don't because it's slow.
Oh. I always think 3 because you could go do this at 3.
Yeah, you could go do this at 3. I was going off of base any percent.
Oh, fair enough.
They do not, unfortunately. You only start with Final Fantasies. You only start with 1, 7, 13. But I believe all of them are available. You get 3 or 4 or 9, 11, and 14 as well.
Might want to stock up on potions and stuff.
Nice. You're being helpful for a change.
What do you mean
All
for a
right,
change?
I gotta go see a man about. Okay, imagine a bus, right?
You want weapons? We got.
I gotta go buy that sword though. I can't complete the run without that sword. And while we're here, I'm gonna get Warp Factor because I need that. Accessory slot 2 for Noctis, and a handy little thing called Aftertaste. I'm gonna make sure to equip this sword and nothing else because it really doesn't matter. I don't have anything to do it. Yes, I am technically a king, but as far as we know, no one has died yet. Everything's fine.
See?
Hold on now. Ain't you lads the
If nobody, we don't even see the cutscene happen, nobody died.
If you could bring the beast down.
Yeah,
Nothing ever triggers the cutscene.
it was with the creators of the Power Rangers,
Y'all still keeping on,
Yeah.
on?
which I believe is Sentai. Is it Sentai or is it? I forget who owns them technically.
Interesting choice.
I cast summon Haru. Haru would know
Take
this.
care now.
Anyway, I like the car. I'm going back to the car, but I have got a quest to kill Deadeye, which is cool.
Yep.
Actually, that probably wasn't faster RTA. Normally, we run this load removed. There's only 3 or 4 people that run it currently, and I have a wonderful PC thanks to my friends over at Skytech, but it's a bit powerful. And one of the other runners lives in Japan where computer components are double the price. So I feel it'd be dramatically unfair to use RTA. And for me on PC runs, it's kind of, it's kind of like a paywall. So we just run load removed. So I'll do a lot of things that are just faster loadless that may not be faster RTA. I apologize, to force a habit. Anyway, I would love to look at these rocks over here. My partner is a huge fan of rock collecting. So I like to stare at these wistfully sometimes, imagining I was a rock. I'm not even going to bother with that one.
I also collect rocks like your partner.
Maybe?
We shop a lot of the same places.
Maybe? Am I in? I'm not in. Okay, so this is the only tricky one in the run. Sometimes it goes easy, sometimes it just decides that it doesn't care. So we'll see what happens here. Yeah, it is Hasbro. Okay. So this one's going to be a little finicky today.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. Told you, I cast summon Haru. Haru would know these things.
It's trying. It's really honestly
Labradorite
trying.
is really pretty.
Okay. I'm going to reposition myself
I have a thing
here.
for fluorite.
Yeah, right here looks good. Maybe. Nope. I mean, either it's first try or I sit here for a bit, unfortunately. They're minerals, Marie. True, they are minerals. Yeah, I apologize. We're just a little stuck here. It happens. I've been trying to figure out why it occasionally is very simple, occasionally why it's not very simple. My testing has led to, I don't know, blame it on the weather.
I'm blaming a lot today on the weather.
Yeah, I'm not getting the second beep that I need. Oh, no, there it is. Okay, well, good enough. Sorry that took so long. Again, you can ask D-Wins, who's in the chat as a runner, Architose, who's run this as well. For some reason, that is just one spot that sometimes it's just not consistent. It's, for some reason, just a little finicky. It is also on the boundary of, like, 2 out-of-bounds zones, which is probably why it's a little bit trickier than others. You also have enemies like right behind you, so the game knows that you could potentially fall into an encounter at any point. That one was on me though. I needed to wait a little bit. Nah, we're not going that far in yet. Man, nah, this whole area is just giving me the business today, I guess. See, this is why I don't restart my computer, Alfina, because things get weird. There we go. That got it.
I didn't tell you to restart your computer.
So the key thing to know if what I did is going to work, about like 95% of the time, if you see the loading symbol show up before like the second picture menu, that pretty much lets you know you're in, and you have the ability to like move around in the background. If you remember, we took the Deadeye quest, and even though I took quite a bit of time, we're still about 5 to 6 minutes ahead by the end of this of if we did it normally.
Because of like the stealth and everything in this mission, doing it normally takes about 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think I got it down to like 10 to 13. It just really kind of depends on what goes on. You might see Deadeye kind of warp around a bit here. The targeting is going to be kind of awkward. The damage numbers that you see aren't really going to match up to like the HP bar. The game, although it recognizes where we are and what we're doing, is still kind of coming to terms with it, would be my assumption.
The
'Cause, like,
game is like, you shouldn't be here
not
with
like
what
that.
you have.
Yeah, because like there are times where I'll just toss like a nice little warp strike, and oh, okay, yeah. So that barrel that did 900 damage did more like 12,000 for whatever reason. But all right, carry on, I guess. Anyway, we're done with that. That was an experience, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was something.
Listen, it was something. Yeah, this
We made it
category
through it.
definitely abuses a little bit of the menus within the game. Like I said, it's not too far removed from like older style cartridge games where you're just basically forcing the game to do more things than it can realistically do at once. So it just kind of does what it needs to do, and yeah, that was not bad. Normally a backside fight like that is really rough because won't line up on anything. Yeah, like for some reason the game thankfully puts like an event flag at the end of that pathway, but not in it. I'm just gonna fall through the floor. Don't worry, that happens normally. And no, I'm not kidding. Try it out yourself.
Yeah, you don't have to break the game for that.
Yeah, you'll either land on a box or you'll fall through the floor.
I have fallen through the floor multiple times.
Come on, Noct. Let's go for a ride.
Like, just playing the game casually, just wandering around, fell through the floor and went, what?
Oops. It'll happen. Wait until
Yeah.
you see what I've been cooking up with Chitose. It's pretty ugly. Oh wait, that's right. I changed this around. So you know Costomark, right? You know, big,
Yeah.
long, annoying dungeon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I was taking a drink of water at the same
it's
time.
all
I
good.
couldn't answer.
Okay, so what if instead of doing that, we just, I don't know, warp down to the bottom of it by deloading and reloading the map?
Here for this.
Chitose has been working on New Game Plus all hunts, and it's under 6 hours and could probably hit like a 545 or less.
Oh, I'm here.
That
for this.
involves the old Armiger glitch. So basically doing a new game, getting to chapter 7, having AMG open, popping the menu, heading into the Leviathan fight, and then just warping out of the Leviathan fight to a campsite, and then flying over to Pitios, and you're basically stuck in that Leviathan fight level of Armiger for the entirety of the run, and
Everything in
then
order.
using some
Yeah.
trickery to deload and reload a bunch of dungeons. D, if you're still here, have we figured out how to trick that for Crestholm? Because that would also be a pretty decent time save. Crestholm's not long, but
Yeah.
it's like, I think it's 7 minutes first time through, 3 minutes second.
But if we could, like, one of those just, yeah.
Yeah.
Please?
Well, the big time save is Costomark, because that's I think
yeah.
my best like start to finish Costomark is
I thought it was like 9.
18 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Because there's from Aramusha out, it's like a 2.5, 3 minute drive. It's
Okay.
probably about like an 18-minute dungeon, just like leaving the campsite to finishing Jabberwocky.
Okay. With that, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm just like,
Sorry,
plus
I'm a
that would be
huge-
like so visually cool.
Yeah, it's wild. It's very wild. And like it's super weird. The past couple of days, like just Chitose and our schedules have kind of lined up the way they needed to be lined up. And him and Dee taught me the new route for this, and I was able to help Chitose with a few things with his New Game Plus run about some of the weird iniquities that happen within the game. How sometimes certain mobs won't spawn unless you do certain conditions. Like, you know how there's always that one mob that doesn't show up in rank 8 that I have to like do a hard reset for?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
This is as low as it'll go. I'm working on a new project and a new build with one of the people that helps me out, one of the companies that helps me out, and I might have something spicy cooked up in a little bit.
Yeah. Also, yes, we nerd about this game this
Yeah.
much.
It's just
all the
weird
time.
because for like almost the entirety of like the history of this run, none of like the U.S. or European runners speak Japanese, and most of the Japanese runners don't really understand English all that well. And Chitose is kind of the first one, and I've been like learning Japanese and practicing. My favorite new recipe, I learnned how to make. Well, I can't tell you their full name, but actually, no, I've known how to do that for a while. I made a rendition of the LeBlanc curry from Persona for one of the cooking streams I did like a month ago, and I'm itching to make it again. It's extremely fragrant, has a nice little bite, but with a background of... so instead of using like milk chocolate, I use abuelita, which shout outs to those who know what abuelita is. And some cold brew coffee, and it's just got this incredible depth of flavor coming off like just regular golden curry paste. But that does tremendously well, especially if you're going to put a little bit more starchy stuff in it, like potato, just because it really soaks in better than any kind of other curry that I've been making. Anyway, I don't like this one either.
Yes, we're ignoring walls.
Yeah, no more walls.
But, hi, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy. Saving the day again. Abuelita is I believe, Mexican in origin. It's basically like almost like a chocolate and cinnamon bar, except you're designed to like crush it up and melt it in milk to make like hot cocoa. Yeah, so I kind of ad-libbed it a little bit, Link, but very similar, because it was like someone challenged me. I think it was like I had to make some sort of like special coffee thing, and and some sort of curry or golden curry. And I was like, all right, well, I can make this work. Yeah, potato's a great substitute. Well, it's a great addition to curry. You don't even need it to substitute anything. Oh yeah, I guess manual driving, we could explain that too. Manual driving saves a lot of time because the car only goes a certain speed. So the only way to make it faster is to literally make it shorter.
So you'll notice we drive on the wrong side of the road all the time, this, that, and the other. It's all just shortening the distance, just like race car drivers.
Yeah, this is Sunlith Waterscape. Yeah, it's kind of, well, I would say it's less than a mole because it's not very heavy in the chocolate. It's added as more like a little bit as like a backing note, where with mole you're dealing with traditional mole is like basically just pure peppers and then Mexican chocolate. But pretty similar in concept, yeah. Not too far removed.
Sleeping in a nice room tonight?
Yes, I'm certain we can secure.
Okay, so I have to get one more thing and then we can get the weirdness started with this run. You know, beyond the whole breaking through invisible barriers and whatnot.
So many stalls here.
So, I need to talk to this man about his Ketty or Ginger. I have no plans on going to the Rock of Ravito, so I'm just gonna... Oops. I'm just gonna take it. And then we're gonna go back to the place where we first camped. Ayo, do you see the W14, by the way, Emmy? Looks absolutely gorgeous. All right. I am going to wait until nightfall. I'm a bit of a nocturnal creature, and I just want to set the mood proper. I'm gonna make a little boop there. I'm gonna grab this. I will need it. It'll save me time later, and it just kind of helps me set up and relax a little bit, because the next bit of setup I have to do is actually pretty strange. And it's not something I'm like 1,000% comfortable with yet, but it's something that I'm pretty okay with.
Moments taking those warp strikes, by the way, are really great, because it gives us a little bit more distance attacking that enemy and then continuing to move on. So that was actually really quick movement, getting to hit him. I wish I was a little bit better at explaining all of the braking that Kyo is doing at the moment.
This is the tricky one that I don't like because it's still kind of fresh.
But while I understand some of it, I wouldn't be able to like detail explain this to you all because I'm still trying to understand a lot of these glitches. But there's something about how looking at pictures that you've taken, loading in and out is messing with forcing reloads and stuff like that as well. That's why you keep seeing us look at that picture of grass while Keo is changing the frame rate around a lot.
This ain't gonna work. Too slow. All right, I'll just take it if it randomly gives it to me. Let's see.
I think it.
Yeah, it just decided to. Okay. Well, hey, sometimes mercy's a friend.
I'll take it. So right now we're in a pause menu. We shouldn't be able to.
Are we? Are you sure about that?
So technically nothing should be happening in the game, but if you guys look at the clock on the dashboard of the car, you will notice that it's moving.
Yeah, you'll occasionally see lights too. I just got passed by a car that went off the left side of the screen. You also might see lights moving around. That's just my party members. So we're officially, technically, in the active menu glitch. I'm going to need to do a few things in order to keep it there and to basically get it fully set. This is like kind of an in-between step. Think of it as like a multi-step solution. In the meantime, you probably have a little bit of time if you're like thirsty or whatever. You could probably go grab a drink, something. This basically now I'm just gonna wait for an encounter. I need an encounter now. And the good news is, because we're on the road, I'm likely to get one at night. I just need to wait though.
Nuclear, if you've got any plugs or anything, now would be a great time.
I just wanted to ask, how long does this normally take to get an encounter? Does it vary every time?
Yeah, it's
a little bit
somewhat random. But good ones would happen probably right about now to within the next like 15 minutes in game. I've had some as late as like 9:30, 9:45, which is unfortunate. But
in-game time. So that doesn't move in real time. That's
okay,
not real
I was
time.
like, oh no.
Real time is more like
for like 3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah.
I think
more
now
of a, like,
though.
Minute or two.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're looking at like a couple minutes.
I think now would be a great time if you haven't. I just posted the link to Keos's link or Twitch. Please go and give him a follow. Definitely deserves it, especially if you're enjoying this run right now. If you want to see a little bit more degenerate content, especially than we can show on GDQ.
Listen, I clean up well. I think I saw something. Worst case scenario, I just have to reload and try this again. It is what it is. Nope, I saw it. It just took a while to load in. Cool. So now I'm going to show you this menu. Be careful. If you have photosensitivity warning, I will do my best to let y'all know when that's happening. Oh, that's going to slow us down too. Anyway, I am a pacifist in this run, at least for now. So I'm just going to get out of here. My friends can deal with it. My friends are my power. I'm a coward.
Power?
Yeah, listen.
Was that what you were going with?
Listen.
No.
No te preocupes, es okay. Cool, I stopped running. Now I have this really nifty ability. I'm just gonna go back to where we camped because that's faster than running back. Yeah.
If you look at this load screen, you'll see the menu is still right there.
Yeah, menu is still right there. So I'm gonna take a nice little camping trip here. I forgot to buy mimic greens. I think
you didn't have me remind you anything.
It's fine. It just means we'll be like slightly slower, but the difference in time will only be like 20 seconds total.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot to buy mimic greens, which gives you like double the stamina. It's really not going to make that much of a difference in the long run. I just need to revert my internal timings.
Demons in the night are a fact of
anyway, I've had enough of this game.
Important for things like
it's just the chocobo stamina.
World record
timing.
Yeah. We're not We're not fighting for world record today.
Oh.
We're fighting for a good show.
World record went out the window after I didn't get first try rocks at Deadeye.
I know.
This is 120. Yeah, tofu.
We're looking for a good show.
There are a few things about this run that through all of them maintain a common point. One of them is that if you are doing any of the runs that aren't glitched, the fastest way to fight Ifrit is the way we figured it out in day one, like 6 years ago. And 2, tofu will pretty much be all the meal you eat every time. There's only one category where it's not. Well, at least for the final fight. Anyway, it's really cool the game has DLC, and you'll be like, well, Kios, what about DLC? They made us pay for this. Yeah, you know what's really cool, though? It got rid of that menu overlay, didn't it? So, for now, as long as I keep the game open, AMG is active. And you'll be like, well, what does that mean? And I'll say, that boy needs therapy. Shout-outs to, like, the 2 Avalanches fans in chat. You're a lot cooler than you think you are. But no, things are going to get weird. Oh, avalanches above. Business continues below. Oh, yeah, I'm like 2 minutes RTA behind where I want to be.
This is fine. We're putting on a good show.
Yep. I'm cool with it. All right. So things are going to be a little bit weird. Follow along if you can at home. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call my Chocobo. And the Chocobo is obviously very handy, I know. I've done so many runs without it. And then I'm going to open the menu, and nothing's going to actually be paused right now. I'm going to hop on my Chocobo, open the menu, and hit a few buttons, and all of a sudden, I'm just going to move in the menu.
Yes, the Chocobo is a good boy.
Yeah, I have to keep a really close eye on this. So I'll probably lose like maybe 30 seconds total, unfortunately, just because the land route's a lot longer than I actually remember it.
Yeah, it's fine.
This is fine. So like here's the crazy part, Emmy. If you notice, like my system memory and GPU memory haven't really budged. So it's not like overloading things per se, but it just forces weird things to happen. As far as I can gather, and I am no game developer, I just guess probably have the most experience with Luminous Engine at this point. I've got more time than some of the people that were officially employed by them in this game and tinkering with it. If y'all looking for someone to hire, though, hey, what up? But what we can gather, as D-Wins mentioned in chat a little bit ago, it's a concept of 2 rights make a wrong. I opened a menu while paused, but the game didn't have enough time to register it was open. So basically, when I open an actual menu, the game is now telling itself, oh, okay, well, since the menu's open, we can deload all the assets, because when you're in a menu, the game automatically operates under the assumption that because you're in a menu, you're not moving, you're not going anywhere, so it can deload all those assets that, you know, it would normally lead, like walls and boxes. A little bit of a sound alert here. So, you know, we're in this, and the game just kind of assumes, hey, you had the menu open, so like we don't have to load in all these walls, all these, you know, boundary boxes, etc., etc. You can just kind of do whatever. But because we broke how the pause menu works, and it's basically an active pause menu, it just kind of lets us do our thing. It's all right. D can make fun of me because I forgot to grab the Mimit. That's all right. I just got to be a little bit more careful with my management. That's all. I didn't stall out, so it's the biggest time loss. Yeah, to be honest, like, the biggest issue that the Luminous engine has so far, and as much as I love Forspoken, it suffers the same fate, is that the Luminous engine, while being graphically beautiful, yeah, I know I'm saying this with all the graphics turned off, but trust me, crank this bad boy up, and it's mind-blowing. You'd be like, there's no way this game came out 6 years ago. But unfortunately, the way that it handles, especially like lights, it's basically like almost like a quasi version of ray tracing. It's very heavy, it's very cumbersome, and it doesn't compress very well. Which is why this game was like 150 gigabytes when it came out, and why you need at least a 3070 to play Forspoken. But yeah, the really neat thing is that this area, I'll pull up the map because it doesn't really matter, we're moving. We were never supposed to have access to this area, period. Never planned. It was never utilized as anything within the game. But they still made an entire texture for it, which is pretty nutty. Yeah, I think it's, to be honest, Emmy, I feel like it's more of a kind of, they didn't really optimize too much of it, which wouldn't surprise me. Some things package really well, and unfortunately, like the only other big game engine that a lot of people talk about is Unreal. And Unreal 4 and Unreal 5 compile and compress so freaking well. Like, we're used to that. We're like, oh, an entire 100+ hour RPG on Unreal Engine, 28 gigabytes. Nice. Yeah, it's just poorly optimized. Like, if it had hooked in something like, I don't know, DX10 or anything to alleviate the kind of file sizes and CPU strain on it, it would be great. Unfortunately, it didn't. Anyway, I would still personally like to thank one of the devs, El Spiro, on and off viewer for a long time, but they were really cool about explaining like a lot of the processes that went into it and like how this game was so lucky to come out. I like the game. I won't tell you that it's perfect though. I don't think there's any perfect video games, but it's definitely a feat that this thing came out and actually functioned. Yeah, that's unfortunate, Rain. Like, that's the only thing I worry about is like the monopolization of it. But if it's a good product, at the end of the day, we can't complain too hard, I guess. But I mean, it's just like everything else, though. You gotta kind of figure out what's the best. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoy. So for those of you that do know this game, you might start seeing stuff that looks familiar finally. You take a look to our right. Oh, hey, look, it's that bridge. You know, the one that takes us to Insomnia. Yeah. Now, I'm actually not going to lose too much time here, which is pretty cool. I'm going to go slightly safer here on the lineup. I'm going to go into the armpit. Unity is good. It's just Unity can be a little bit of a resource hog depending on what you're doing with it. Unity's pretty cool as a whole, though. Like the interactivity of it and just how easy it is to implement with like almost any other program is wild. Like, I have a 3D model that I could port into Unity and interact with. It's wild. Kirby Air Ride was pretty good. Not without its flaws, though. Mainly because I don't own it.
So to talk about the game for a second.
Go ahead. Yes, I'm riding my Chocobo now. This is why we need Chocobos.
This is why we need Chocobos. This is what I was about to get into. So one of the biggest reasons that we go through the whole process of getting Chocobos to do this is because that's what allows us to swim. It's not just because they are a little bit faster than base running, because everything is faster than base running. If we want the fastest movement, we would still be doing warp strikes. But Chocobos allow us to swim, which is what is allowing us to get back to Insomnia right now, as we're crossing all of this water, and you can see the waves moving as we're moving forward. So yeah, in case you were wondering why Chocobos and why this is the only category with Chocobos, it's this moment right here. This one.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to see what comes out of a lot of the new tech, not just Unreal, but also, like you mentioned, Unity. I saw someone mention ID tech too. RE Engine is good. Heck, even the Dragon Engine is also really good. The only issue I have with Dragon Engine is if the cutscene's longer than 5 minutes, it will absolutely chunk your frame rate. Anyway, this is where I normally shill. Nuke, do you have anything?
Just make sure to subscribe to Games Done Quick because it helps fund Hotfix and provide more content like this. Also, follow the channel if you're not already, but you probably are. And also follow Kaios because, hello, you're here, you're having a good time. You definitely should go give him a follow.
So
there's the link in chat.
Liminal, I definitely want to rename the categories. I just want to also do it when I can get at least one of the other like moderators on board with me, so I'm not just like single manning the leaderboard. But I feel like this should just be any percent, and then we can just rename stuff, you know, any percent glitchless. Although technically there is there's skips, but I don't think they're glitches in my opinion. Who knows? I should talk to Maelstrom about it.
There really is only one that I would potentially call a glitch.
Yes.
Which is the warp strike glitch.
Yeah, and it's almost so insignificant. It's like not even real tech. Anyway, I went swimming.
That's my point. That like there's only one thing, and even that, it's kind of. Do I really worry about it?
Probably not. Cool. So I went for a swim, and basically you could call it a wrong warp at this point. I have now decided that it's time to go to Insomnia. So we just went from chapter 5 to chapter 15. Well, technically 14. Me, I'm always multitasking.
It's true.
I'm going to grab this, though. That's an Imperial Medal of Honor. It's one of the best treasures you can get in the game because there aren't too many of them, but as a catalyst for the magic system, is it sweet. I'm going to grab 2 of those. You'll also see them make an appearance in the level 1 Omega setup as well. Absurdly good. Yeah, exactly. To be honest, Emmy, like, I could probably pitch a case better than anyone else because I have like 4,000 hours in this game now. I don't know. I've also, you know, gone down with this ship many, many times.
Shit.
Oh, a little bit of a pull.
There may be survivors.
Yeah,
that Chocobo ride took 10 years. That's what happened. That's my story.
Yep. All right, friends with photosensitivity, please close your eyes. Thank you. I have to do some menuing here, and unfortunately, it's a little bright.
I can't look at the screen for this.
The AP is a little low. Not sure I'm a big fan of it. We might not get what I need later, but we'll see. Although thankfully at this point it really kind of doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to live with it. We'll make it up somewhere, or we won't. One of the two. Anyway, welcome. Oh, hey, Core's here. I don't even think we met Core in the first part of the game.
We didn't.
Here's Matthew Mercer. Yep, time skip has been skipped. We call it the time skip. We don't actually call it anything, to be honest. When I say we, it's me, D-Wins, and Chitose who have dabbled with this outside of the, well, currently. I know there's a lot of work that was done early on, and a lot of the glitch work with, what is it, LT Low, I think. But it's mainly a few like people from the Japanese community, and then it's just D and I doing our best to like backwards engineer it. Why is the screen the surface of the sun? Because it's trying to load a menu at the same time it's trying to load a menu that we already have loaded within the game per se. So it doesn't quite know what to do, so it just blends them together, and then also it's also tracking what I'm doing like in the game. So it's like loading 3 different screens at the same time.
Follow me.
So, what brought you back to Insomnia?
We wanted to do what we could to make sure everything was in order. But the day the king returned to reclaim his rightful seat on the throne,
It's the bright and the blue, and I know for me it gives me headaches when I watch it on the Discord streams that I can be commentating in more real time.
Stationed just
And
it's
yeah,
just about the only place we have left.
Certified with a wit. Can I get a witness? Yeah, there's no such things as accidents. They're just happy little blazing sun mistakes. Anyway, I'd love to listen to what Matthew Mercer has to tell me, but he's just too handsome. The words go in one side and come out the other. I'm actually going to cut his animation short there too, so I can just do that. Neat little trick, by the way. If you ever play this, if you open the camera and then close it quick, Noctis stops doing whatever animation he's doing. So, yeah, it's a nice little time save. That definitely adds up. Anyway, this is Yosef. You may or may not know him, but he basically gives us the task that we've done these before. It's the Imperial bases, but there's one in particular that I'm going to want to interact with. 4.
considering this one we kind of skip everything.
Yep. Not enough. 4 is going to have to do it. 2 ether, movement, and reset.
So this armor that you're seeing us use, that we kind of touched on it briefly about it being, it was made free in DLC or in a patch. It was free DLC after a certain patch because of the whole copyright potential issues. They didn't feel like doing the battle, so they just,
They changed the design and said, hey, it's free.
But this was free to everybody. This armor, what it does, in case anybody missed it, or if we didn't talk about it this time, I do lose track, admittedly. It gives us 30 minutes of combat in which we do not take damage. And we can tell that it's active when we're in combat because our back lights up.
Yep. Also, you get the little icon next to the name as well.
Yeah.
It's handy. It just makes
I like
things
the
more
backlight up.
consistent. Like, I've done this run without it and before it existed. It just makes things more consistent and quicker over the board.
Yep. And that's really the end of the day, the biggest reason for using it is we like consistency around here.
I do, at least. My time is very valuable.
I guess I can't really say I like consistency with the speedruns that I do.
Oh, well, I mean,
But-
listen, I ran Near Automata for a year and a half straight, so what do I know?
Could catch some Z's here.
We like the
And
idea of
cover your eyes,
consistency, at least.
childrens. Papa's gotta make magic.
This is another bright moment. Yeah, happy to answer questions. And if you guys have any other questions, please definitely ask away. Yeah, and that 30, when we say 30 minutes of in-game combat, I mean in combat.
Yeah, like actively.
So we have to actively be in combat all 30 minutes in order for it to be used. Otherwise, it doesn't count.
Yep, this is Royal Edition or Windows Edition. I also needed to make sure I ended up grabbing enhancement there. Okay, this is the setup I'm used to. Spin. Cool. I'm gonna go for break. Got it. Nice. Consistent first turn. So this is actually probably not the fastest, but it at least allows me to set my feet down and get comfortable with where I want to be. You'll notice it's stuck in the vulnerable animation, but this allows me to refresh my MP and get ready. I have blue light. Oh, okay. See ya, Cerberus.
I have UV filtered glasses, and it does not help me.
Yeah, it's just a very jarring color, unfortunately. I'm gonna stick on
There's
him.
things like that that just very bright personally to me gives me headaches. That's why we also say stuff for people with any kind of photosensitivity.
Oh, okay, there it went. I accidentally mistimed that, and by mistime, I mean I got aggressive and gambled that it wouldn't happen. But if you noticed, Cerberus disappeared. That's because when I warp striked it, the physics engine had a little oopsie poopsie and launched him into the stratosphere and over the back wall. But it's okay.
Oopsie.
The game eventually resets it. Oops. Listen, I'm just trying to have a good time, and honestly, I'm feeling attacked right now.
Good.
Anyway, that was Cerberus. Cerberus is a fun fight. Not as consistent. And then we're going to have to deal with Ifrit next. If you were here, I'd say like, what, probably an hour and 5 minutes ago. We did like this opening scene where I ran into the fire and there was a lot of grunting and groaning on the screen and you're not really sure what you're watching. But anyway, here it is again, if you missed it. Just in different outfits this time. It's like another run down the catwalk.
But no matter what, Ifrit just looks cool.
Hang in there, buddy.
I really do like Ifrit's design. in
Listen,
this game.
you can say whatever you want about this game not performing or being half-baked or it's your favorite game. The summon and like god designs in this game are very, very strong. Like they are dope. Like Rama looks old and weathered and absolutely up to here with your shenanigans. Ifrit is just Ifrit's just like exactly how you would imagine him and how he's been portrayed in almost all of them. Hot-headed, aggressive, just kind of
Here
doing
he's
his
just
own
bored.
thing. Oh yeah, well I mean look at him. He's yeah, whatever. Here, have a wave of a wave of flames, idiots. It's all right. I got his number though.
So even that wasn't enough.
All right.
At the end of the day,
Pray
it
for
doesn't
ice.
matter.
Here
I'm
we
still
go.
a Shiva fangirl.
I would love to cosplay as Shiva. I think it would be a great idea.
I want to cosplay as Shiva, but Final Fantasy X Shiva.
All right. Looks like I got 2 ice. Ended with ice too. Cool.
Nice.
So looking like, yeah, halfway. Good maximum damage on it. I just need to bait out the rest of the attacks here.
So again, a lot of the strats that we're using here are from day one.
Except this is the only one that's actually different, and it's mainly
Yeah.
because I just can't. Like, I don't have access to Armiger right now at all.
Some of the things that we do different is purely because of the fact that we skipped portions of the game to be able to do them.
Portions meaning
but-
all. We skipped all of the game.
We skipped all of the game. But like the logic behind what we're doing, honestly, a lot of it's just the stuff that we figured out day one.
Yep. Massive ice cast to bring down the
There's-
flame barrier. It looks like he's going to be
there's
stubborn.
been-
I'm going to have to 3 cast on it.
There's been a lot of things that different people have like theorized and then tried when it comes to Ifrit, but no matter what we try, we keep coming back to the original ideas. It's just keeps showing out faster.
You have 2 suggestions for me if I want to cosplay Shiva. Yeah, me too.
The grace of the gods is with you always.
It's called double-sided tape and hopes and dreams. It's technically 3 things.
One that I intend to keep.
All right, on to the Fierce. This is technically a scripted fight as long as I get all the damage correct. We'll see. Sometimes he doesn't like to play nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have the right point warp. Oh, good. You're going to do this early. So, yeah, this is not great. I'm going to have to try and squeeze in this enhancement and just hope we can catch up on damage. Listen, cosplayers live and die by the strength of their double-sided tape. Okay, I guess you can also just stand there and not do anything. Like, that's pretty cool of you. I would like for you to continue doing that. All right. Unfortunate. I got some pretty high damage rolls to start, and it pushed him over. There's like a threshold I'm looking for, which is right around 70% of his health. So we're going to have a little bit slower exit here with Gladio instead. What up, Sharkles?
Let me handle it.
I don't know if I'd go for like the whole body coverage thing. That makes me like, I don't know. It just makes me like itchy. But yeah, acrylic nails on satin gloves are a great touch. Asked me about cosplaying my VTuber and how long it took me to pull my acrylic nails off. It was not a good time.
I've got your back. Now and always.
Did I ever tell you about the only time I wore acrylic nails?
Yeah, how'd that go?
I broke one off 2 days after they got put on.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Listen, whoever's making the Legend of Dragoon trend on Twitter, stop getting my hopes up, okay? Thanks. We all know it's not going to happen. It doesn't matter.
Did I never show you the pictures with
I
my,
think you
my
did.
acrylic nails? Because it was for one specific event.
Yeah.
We better keep moving.
All right.
And the
First
time
King of
before I knew
Nordau.
you.
It's all lit up.
30, 10. I think we're going to end up short for
He's expecting company.
He wants this as
Warp
bad
Strike.
as
I
we
could
do.
try and squeeze.
Think the elevator's
I
working?
think we're going to be short for point
looks
blank
like
by
it.
like 1 or 2, if my math is correct. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, it's all right. I'll try and drag it to the last possible second. I was on front page one time, and it was speedrunning Legend of Dragoon,
Waits
and a
outside.
freak thunderstorm spawned out of nowhere and knocked out our power for 30 minutes.
Owns the place.
It's time
The captured thumbnail of me being on front page is just
tonight.
the disconnect symbol. It was great. Oh yeah, wig caps too.
I have the screenshot somewhere of Kyo on front page, and it's the Kios's offline screen.
Okay, this is not going to be a good one. I did not get targeting off the bat. I'm going to try my best though. There's a couple of phases I can try and stick her in. Okay. First one, I'd like to get to the traditional like stagger phase. See if we get that. Looks like a no. Recoup. I also have to remember I'm down 1. Okay. Huh? Timed it literally frame perfect. Can't do much better than that. Yes, stand there like a fool. Anyway, Rogue is like one of the toughest fights in this game, just in terms of speedrunning. I'm gonna get lucky here though. Gonna get very
Part of it is
lucky.
because Rogue does what Rogue wants.
Pretty much.
And there's a certain amount that we can manipulate that, but
Yeah, this is the
the
only
other side
version
of
of
it
the
is-
run where I don't have a fail, like a backup strategy.
Yeah.
Because if Rogue starts taking too long in any of the other categories where you at least get AP, or do the game normally, Prompto gets an ability called Trigger Happy. If there are any 10-2 fans in the chat, you'll remember that one. But basically, no matter what, it does enough damage to get her from like she has control of the screen to immediately knocked out.
It's my turn to stand by him.
1, 2, 3. Rogue is down. On to the easiest, Mystic.
Yep. Anytime that we can get Rogue just nice and easy like that, though,
That
I'm
wasn't
happy.
bad.
I'll be fine.
That was
Yeah, it's legendarily bad. Yo, I forgot they made green gloves, AO. Yeah, good old catnip strats.
This one's more powerful.
Or creature creator. Or, there's so many ways to run that game. It's a shame. Like, I think Final Fantasy X-2 has one of the best combat systems and, like, is absurdly fun to play. It's just the story is not
I
great.
really do. I have a really good love for just going and doing fights in 10-2.
Oh, it's super fluid, especially when you remember it's a PS2 game and it just moves that smoothly in combat. Chef's kiss.
But also, like, there's a lot more, like, I feel like there's a lot of fun strategy that I could keep employing in it, and that appeals to me.
Yes.
Anytime that I can approach a game and play with the different strategies that are available to me, it just makes me very happy.
Oh yeah.
I just have to ignore the story in 10-2 a lot.
I just also enjoy the fact that you can play as any class realistically. It just depends on what your dress sphere is, and you can change it mid-fight, which is like so reminiscent of the early Final Fantasy games, except you had to like do it in a menu instead.
But you should also change the mid-fight.
Stay. Good boy.
So, by the way, Mystic here is extremely weak to fire. All things.
Okay, you're gonna take a comeback? Perfect.
Because, you know. So, it's DLC in the sense that this is... Are you asking about, like, the bosses that we're looking at, or in what our characters are wearing? Bevo, because I would be happy to answer that.
But yeah, this is new game, base new game.
Yep, it is not New Game Plus, it is base New Game.
Yeah. So
we just are breaking everything.
The characters, this was a free DLC that came out right around when episode Gladio launched. Oops, that's the wrong button. Yeah, it's free for every version of the game. It was included in a patch update.
Because we actually started including this in the base game speedrun long before Royal Edition was
announced.
Yeah. So it's been around for quite a while. That's fair. I would say if you played on launch, and that was it,
give it a run back. It's dope.
Give it a run back. Grab the Royal Edition, play it again. It is incredibly worth it. They did a lot of fixes that they needed to do. They gave it a lot of love.
8 short.
The story is expanded in amazing ways in all of the DLC stories. And then, oh, hi.
Yeah, I forgot. Sorry, I needed to check. I am unfortunately low for that. So.
And they also, when they added the Royal Edition, they expanded the city of Insomnia. They added new bosses, which makes the end of the story feel so much more complete.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Just a lot of little things that just really fleshed out the ending of the game. But also Royal Edition did do some other little things throughout the entire game. But like little things.
With me.
I might be able to get this after infiltration.
I get it.
If not, our damage is just going to be a little bit lower on point blank stuff, so I'm going to have to try and
Then it's settled.
try and reconcile that.
No backsies?
All right. So I need to listen for a very specific audio cue coming up. We are headed to the end of the game, and so far I've proven this game can be broken and blown out pretty incredibly. However, this game is very, very smart in the way that it prevents you from just cheating your way to this point. Going into this cutscene, the game is going to check if we have the requisite items that we need to finish the game. Like the Ring of the Lucii, or any of the Royal Arms, which we don't have. So what I need to do at certain points within this cutscene is swap around equipment. So it's going to end up, like I said, I'm from Philadelphia, so I have to get into the traditional Philadelphia fighting garb, which is completely naked. But I need to trick the game's inventory into being like, yeah, okay, this is fine, go ahead. If I mess it up, I get thrown into a bottomless pit, or I get thrown into one of the rest areas, but it's completely covered over in rubble.
The king sits there.
So it's pretty interesting. Oh, Noct. How I have waited for this.
How I have waited for this.
Longer than you would ever know.
Longer than you could ever know. Tonight, the dreams of the blood royal
come to an end.
Spite's all that's kept him going.
Me too. He's just like me, for real, for real.
Arden sits the throne. Not for long. This is my ascension. What did you do?
They have no place in this. The Battle of Kings. Come, Noctis.
We're good.
Sorry,
Unfortunately,
I don't
my
like talking
damage
in
is
there because I'm
wacky,
always
but-
afraid that I'm gonna distract you at just the wrong moment.
Yeah, if you want to take over here, I'm just counting in my head.
It ends now.
Yeah, so a lot of what we're gonna do now is break the game again, because so this should be the final battle, except you know what if it wasn't?
So you are the chosen.
We there is a very specific reason that we need this to not be the final battle quite yet. So we're gonna do some tricks here to get out of here because you know, remember that whole thing where we basically told the game that we didn't have certain menu items or certain items in our inventory? Well, there's reasons the game was kind of checking for those. And since we kind of told the game that we're not going to have them, we're going to have to find a way around needing them. So Kyo's going to break out of this fight.
First
because
try, let's go.
That's what we do. By jumping over some invisible walls like that. And it's very exciting to get that first try because it's very
such a
hard to
tight
get over
trick,
those.
especially one because I'm running at literally the lowest possible level I can do that, and two, there's about 4 or 5 different like invisible walls that intersect there, and it's just gnarly.
And so we're going to come back over here because you remember how we picked up the information about the infiltration? So we're going to go do one. And the game's going to be like, oh, infiltration. Well, you definitely need somebody in your party. Here's Core. But here's one other interesting little fact for your infiltration. We didn't end the fight with Arden.
Ooh, did not like that hiccup. Got lucky. Oof. These are all on a very tight timer, at least the first room, so I needed to clear that properly. This one should be a bit freer.
So we're doing a lot of little thing. We're trying to do this infiltration correctly, but we're kind of having to keep an eye out as well, because again, we did not finish the fight with Arden.
Boys.
Yeah, it's about to get even weirder. So there's a reason why we have to do it this way.
Yes.
That reason is because we don't have the items that we need along the way. I don't have any weapons to fight Arden with. Eyes.
Yeah.
No, still short. We're gonna have to do this the hard way.
But
Is
the
what
nice
it
thing
is.
is
Damage
because
is just gonna be low.
infiltration, they did just give us our party members back. So the boys are back.
Oof.
Yeah, there he is.
I'm just gonna try and take him here for now because it's not awful.
Yeah.
I'll drag him into the next area in a minute, but I would like
So-
to. This is a good chance for me to actually put some damage down. All right.
So yeah, you guys were wondering where Arden is. Right there.
He'll warp strike away, but because the game is like kind of confused about his absolute coordinates, he'll actually end up back in the actual fight arena, all the way on the other side of the map. A couple of weird jerk. Ooh. Muscle stim's not a bad call here, I guess. Depends on how this goes. I could actually potentially use that into the Armiger warp.
Maybe.
That should set. Yep, good enough. Okay, I have like one chance to set this up. I'm not gonna get damage storage glitch.
Nope.
Unfortunately, I tried because like having damage storage glitch attached to muscle stim would have been good, but now this is going to be a pretty rough fight. I'm not even going to talk about how low my HP is. We're just going to pretend that's not even a thing right now. Ideally, what happens is I actually have point blank warp strike, which basically makes every point blank warp strike a crit, which is huge because it's like double damage. But we also set up a glitch called extended damage storage, which for some reason, just going from that phase of the Arden fight to this one, it stores your last warp strike damage as the multiplier. So I try and get it at least 3. So you end up doing thousands of damage. Anyway, I can't do anything here, so it's all up to my party.
Because at this point, the game wants you to use a specific sword that we don't have.
Yep.
So they need to do enough damage to trigger this next phase, and we are coming up very rapidly on time.
Time's coming pretty soon. I'm gonna do it now. Cool. Perfectly timed. I'll explain what this is about once we're done, but get ready on time. Coming in here in just a second. And time. So, neat little factoid about this run. Your party members can knock Arden down, which breaks the quick time event, which means you soft lock on the final boss fight.
We've seen it happen here on Hotfix.
Yeah, it did.
Oh gosh, that's tragic.
Yep.
At the very end of the run.
Yep, it was on the last input too.
Over, Majesty.
Not the cleanest, but hopefully intriguing enough. It's pretty weird, and it also, like, the party members are still in the shot too. There's Ignis just absolutely twerking all over Arden. We'll go with twerking. Yep.
I'm okay with this.
There's Prompto doing the tinkle dance.
I will await you in the beyond.
And yes, we were calling for Gladio for a very particular reason, is because Gladio is the most likely to
knock Arden down.
Out. So by kind of constantly summoning him, it keeps him from doing so.
Yeah, basically, when you do that tech, it just forces whoever you call to not do anything because they're not supposed to be there. So it's just like, hey, do the thing. Oh, wait, never mind. Hey, do the thing. Oh, wait, never mind. Oh, wait, do the thing. Never mind. So that's part of it. All right, what do we want to do next? I brought 2 other cool things with me today. I brought some Pitio speedrun, which is just pretty quick and a test of platforming capabilities, or I could do the super boss at level 1.
Yeah, we're actually going to take a quick little break before we jump into those 2 runs. So chat, this is a great time to get up and stretch, maybe use the bathroom. And as Kyo said, we have 2 more runs for you for Final Fantasy 15. And then even after that, we're going to have some Shovel Knight action coming up. So make sure to stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to No Category Left Behind, the GDQ Hotfix show that showcases category extensions speedruns. I'm your host, Nuclear, and tonight I've got with me Kyo's Little Monster, showcasing some Final Fantasy 15. We just saw a great active glitch menu % run, and now we've got 2 more great category extensions for you. So starting off with Omega level 1%. Before we get into the runs, though, just a couple announcements. If you want to follow what Games Done Quick is up to, use command links in Twitch chat for all things GDQ. Also, a reminder that your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel help support Games Done Quick Hotfix. Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the daily speedrunning content. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass things over to Kios to let us know what this Omega level 1% run is.
Oh, hey, I'm back again. Yes, this is a little taste. If y'all remember a while ago, I did a run with our friend Railkun, which was the full category of level 1 Omega with all Royal Arms. It's just like a weird challenge category we put together, but it was mainly designed to showcase how much of the game you can actually do with just level 1 equipment. So I'm going to go take on the super boss of the game at level 1, and this really shouldn't take us too long. Yeah, I guess just like timer kind of once we load in. I like showcasing at least the setup. Food is super powerful in this game. Like if you're not eating or camping, you're missing out on a lot of stuff. These are the spicy skewers. They are expensive. But Equalizer is very important. It increases damage dealt based on the level difference between the party and enemies. I have 4 level 1 characters going up against level 119 super boss.
We're not joking.
Yeah, it's
the difference is that much.
This game gives you incredible tools, and I wish more games were like this. Again, strong points, weak points. This game was very strong that in your first playthrough, it gives you the ability to just wear an accessory and you don't level up. Oh yeah, I live here in the Listalin Market. It's great. I guess you can just start the timer whenever. It doesn't matter. We'll see if this... I've been having issues with this game loading a little bit, just because I've been running active menu glitch pretty hot and heavy. So I'm sure I've done permanent damage to this installation, and it just kind of is what it is at this point. We'll see. If the load-in mucks up, I do have one that does work, like it's certified. But if it doesn't, you'll get to see what happens if I would have failed the dialogue interaction with Arden.
That is what happens, isn't it?
Oh, yep, here it is. So it failed to load. This is what happens. Oops. Yeah, so, all right, we'll say goodbye to that. Oh, cool. I can still at least return to the title. That's a good thing. All right, I'll just use the... Yeah, weird things happen with this game. Oop. All right, let me load it back in. I did... So what's important is while we were on break, I did close down the entire game and load it back up. Because you don't want AMG working with this one. You know what? I'm gonna do the smarter option here because it tends to work better when I do it that way. I'm gonna force the game into 30 FPS. Sometimes loading in at 120% or 120 FPS is a little odd for it. Don't want to... Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to... I have a save. It's the same file, but it's just right outside of the fight. Oh, yeah. I've beaten this poor game into submission. It's not great for it.
We definitely made the save just because...
Yeah, I was having trouble getting it to load responsibly.
We watched the game break like that a couple times and went,
Okay, so I'm going to throw this back to 120 because it's PC. Come on. You can do it, game. Thank you. We'll go over a bit of the setup here, and then I'm going to launch into the fight. Gear. Looking like this. This is going to get swapped for Ragnarok. Did I make all of my magic? I did not make all of it.
I say I doubt it.
I'm going to save 1 Magitech booster. I'm just going to go in a little weak. It's fine. This can go over Axe, Garnet, Heliodor, Amethyst.
So unlike the run that we just did, we do have all of the equipment that we could want.
Yep.
So we can use the weapons and things like having the... Because you have the axe.
I take the axe off. Just the sword of the father and the trident gives me enough damage and MP to actively manage this.
So what we're talking about is having some of the weapons equipped gives you just passive.
Oh boys,
stats.
Come on.
So what we're talking about is the fact that like some of these weapons, having them equipped gives us enough stats to make sure that we have enough damage to get through this.
Yep.
When combined with that that buff that equalizer. I was about to why am I forgetting the name of the buff?
Yeah.
Equalizer.
The two most important abilities we have here as well are enhancement from Ignis and point blank warp strike, which I wanted for our last run. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Good counter.
So you'll notice the numbers are
Yeah,
for
I'm
some of
level
these,
1 and we're
warp
gonna
strikes.
start busting. All right, I'll take the summon just because it gives me a little bit of a reset here. Yeah, it's weird. Omega just decided to immediately counter, which is not very common, but I want to make sure I have enough damage to get this going.
So summons in this game are either scripted
Yep.
or because the one summon we did in the last run, that's scripted, or it's based on what's going on because of the environment or other little checkpoints or flags that tells the game to offer us a summon. And so that tells us, that's how the game also figures out who you summon.
Yep. All right, cool. That's fine. There's going to be a lot of aggressive movement in here, a lot of warp striking, and a lot of pulling to Ignis. The thing is just
and the honest truth is those two trees are the MVPs of this entire fight.
Really? And yes, for some reason, Omega likes to target Ignis. It just kind of is the inevitability. We actually do the amount of damage we do without enhancement is like single digits. Larboard and starboard. Listen, port is to the left.
Yeah, but I don't know my right and my left.
Everyone laugh. I missed that cast pretty bad.
It happens.
Okay, cool. Full reset.
We are manipulating the space of the battle arena here because if we don't do this right,
we get stompies.
we get zombies, or B, if we move a little too far outside of the arena, we will cause Omega to regen all of his health.
Yeah.
And we don't want that.
It's not specifically all, but it is the rate of 30,000 HP per second, which may as well be all. By the time you're out of it and back into it, he's going to counter. That's fine. I wanted to get the party up anyway. My buff was dying. But yeah, this is mainly, to be honest, the culmination of a lot of research. There's another way to do this that involves the Armiger Unleashed, but that is way too technical for me to do consistently because, believe it or not, I'm actually not perfect. Okay, that's fine. You can do that. Honestly, this fight is roughest in the early stages. It's normally we're used to big, long, super boss fights. It's oh, yeah, the first part's easy. Wait until you get to the second half. This actually gets easier as it goes on, or at least more forgiving, and Omega's damage threshold actually starts to go down as well.
This ought to give you an edge. Thanks.
But at least Iggy's enhancement keeps us.
Yes, it does. He's been incredibly aggressive on Ignis, though. It's all good.
I'm kind of used to that.
Good. Full damage. As you can see, our damage just spiked as of the last time we did this. We were hitting about 5,000 to 6,000. It's already up into the 9s, which is a not insignificant amount. We're going to get Ignis back up and time this. I think I need probably one more round. Yeah, exactly. That's why I use port as opposed to larboard. Because there's hardly any port left. Why, no, it's to the left.
doesn't help me when I can't remember which one is right and which one is left.
It's waiting for me, by the way. Whenever it sits there and does that, it's literally reading your inputs, which I think is wild. Like, people are all like, oh man, a game that reads your inputs. Like, Elden Ring does that with a few boss fights. And this one, oh, it just knows. It knows. So you have to kind of beat it at its own cycle occasionally. But it probably needs about 1 or 2 more hits and we'll hit the next phase on it, which is interesting. It'll start teleporting. It'll pick up a few new techniques as well. Yeah, that's another good way to remember it, Logic.
I'm just saying I'm very bad about knowing my right from my
it's okay.
left.
When was the last time you were on a boat? All right.
2018?
I got my big they them energy magic here. There we go. We're almost capping damage.
Yes, this is Omega. We are level 1.
Okay, this should be warp and missiles. Pretty much out the gate. I got to start breaking legs. That did not break legs. That broke mine. That's okay.
I would say, which legs were you breaking? His or yours?
Waiting for missiles. Anyway, this magic that I'm using is actually part of the same item pickup that we would have used for the one that we did use for Arden, except it's 3 Imperial Medals of Honor as opposed to just 2. Oh, that's cool. Thank you. That's my favorite when I don't even get to move. It happens. I'm gonna instant stab. Gotta dodge those missiles. Those are actually, I can actually abuse those at some point later in the run, or later in this fight rather. It's just very tricky to do so. It's all good. Yeah, level 1's definitely some spicy meatballs. The thing that sets this apart though is like you absolutely need to be on top of where this dude is at all times. As well as he has, like, you can abuse iframes, which is really neat. And you'll see it occasionally, like I'll do one of the techniques and I will immediately have like Omega just land right on me. This should be laser and then missile. Waiting on you. Okay, fine. Missile second round, ready? No? Cool. He's not interested in missiles today, which is good.
I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah, we're already past.
Helps us go faster.
Yeah, I mean it's really fun because it just lets me like blast if I want. Good dodge. I do have to try and start getting these breaks in. It's just a question of how. Oh, there's one. I guess I need to complain about it. Front left down. Rear left. Ooh.
The number of things in this game that can be summed up as, I guess I just need to complain about it.
I mean, that's like my life.
Like, we will have things where it's like, why is this just not giving me what I need? Immediately gives you it. Like, all right, guess I just needed to complain.
See, I look, I'm 30, gonna be 33, Zeno. I gotta tell you, every once in a while I have those days where I have to hold my hands out in front of me and, you know, make an L shape, and the one that makes an L is left.
So, I tried that.
Okay, 3
but
legs
like,
down. That was very quick.
I will indeed, like, I'm inclined to, like, flip one of my hands so that they're both L's.
I made I made a very oopsie poopsie there. I zigged when I should have zagged, and I got zooted. Yeah, I know. 33 in speedrunning and a VTuber and part of the LGBTQ community. I'm like basically about 3 days from being in my coffin. I'm so old. Listen, if I have to see another call out post of, hey, yo, where are my elderly gamers over the age of 25? I'm going to start rattling my cane at people.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, where are my old streamers at? You know, over the age of 30, it's like, you know what? I swear to God.
That's why we have. Wait, where? Hold on. Where is it?
Oh yeah, Kio's boomers. Anyone got any boomers in the chat? Hey, there's
There
a
we
blaster.
go. There's the emote for you all.
Oof. No, leave me alone. I'm not set up yet. He's letting me get damage in though. Like this is actually like kind of super generous of him. I would say one more cycle and then I'll go for push kill. If you were paying attention, you'll notice that I made magic right before the fight started and intentionally didn't use all of my Magitech boosters. I'm going to need one in the future. Oh, that's a laser. Oh, okay, sure. I mean, I'd like to argue hitboxes, but you know, I've played enough Monster Hunter, Nier Automata, and Crisis Core in the past 2 years to never want to talk about hitboxes again. All right, that was just rude, dog. That was a very expensive magic I just wasted. I'm at my peak near 30. I'm at my something. I'm at my something. I'll put it that way. Yep, I can push on this one. I just need to get Ignis back up. Any Plesioths in the chat? I mean, I'm about the same age as a plesiosaur, if that helps. Iverson, you talking about the Super Bowl? Really? Not a game. Not the playoffs. But a Super Bowl? I'm still older than you, Sharky. It's all right, dude. Don't worry. I still love you. All right, I'm going to go for the break on this. Okay, well, you know, I went for it. Wasn't successful, but that doesn't mean I wasn't lying. It's all right. I just need to break the back leg, and that'll take the rest of this remaining, like, probably quarter, a little bit less of the health bar away.
This ought to give you an edge.
Chat is full of ancient ones. Listen. Really? Not gonna break. Max damage, but no breakies. There we go. We got breakies. Breakies for
Sometimes
chat.
Omega wants you to work for it. All right.
Yeah, I did the wrong thing too, but you know, it's fine. Anyway, this Magitech booster is really freaking sweet. What it does is it gives me infinite MP for about like 30 seconds. And if I timed this and checked my damage right, I should be able to do this right before Omega gets up. And this will be time right now. Anyway, the Warp Strike's great. Truly a fellow ancient one. Listen, my knees, my back, or as I like to introduce myself in parties, hi, I'm Kios, I'm here, I'm queer, my back pain is moderate to severe.
We did.
I had no back pain today. I'm very proud.
Sheesh, homie.
But we're not going to talk about my knee pain.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know what you get from Omega, it's this really neat accessory that basically is what the tofu does. Oh, but it also adds in the ability to break damage limit. So I'm just going to find an enemy here. I'm still level 1, by the way. We'll go over that. But yeah, that's me and all of my level 1 glory about to do, I think, like 30 or 40,000 damage. About 32 from just a warp strike. That's all good. Cool. You want to see what else I have up my sleeve?
Let's do it.
This one should be really quick. It is very likely I will make mistakes in this, but it's something that we used to do to kind of get ourselves warmed up. A couple of people kind of dabbled in it competitively, but there is a hidden puzzle dungeon in this game that is only accessible once you beat the game and do all of Cindy's side quests to get a flying car. It is piteous. It is frustrating. A lot of people hate it because this game isn't really designed to be a 3D platformer. So, you know, of course, they give you a 3D platformer puzzle. Of course, as a speedrunner, I found a way around that. And if we do it right, it's just a little over a minute and a half. Why would you stay level 1? I initially did it when I was doing a partner push, and then it was like kind of like a charity incentive, and then it was just like, this was really fun, and I routed it out, and it was like the amount of time I could stream in one night, I could do one of those runs start to finish, and it fit perfectly. Oh yeah, you can stack damage super high with it. Anyway, for those that don't know, this is generally, this dungeon takes people about an hour, sometimes more to figure out. If I do this all right, timer is go. It should only take about 1.5 minutes. If I mess up a little bit, maybe 2, worst case scenario 3, but it shouldn't be too awful.
I did not do this because my attempts to fly the car did not go well.
Oh yeah, parking's a bit of a occupational hazard in this game, especially with the flying car.
Do you not remember my attempts to fly the car?
Yep.
And I constantly clipped that mountains and stuff, and the next thing you know, I'm getting game overs because I barely touched it.
Whew. I'm just going to take my time. I got it first try, so I'm just going to keep this easy. Keep it easy mode,
that trick
kids.
is not as easy as Kyo just made it look.
Yeah, so if you don't know, there is a way to refresh your stamina, and we use that to literally propel ourselves, and at the last second, use an aerial attack with the daggers, and it just sets everything up perfectly. Just enough to get over. This I need to remember to do late as possible.
Whew.
Not world record, but this is going to be a clean first attempt. Anyway, that is almost the entirety of the Piteos dungeon. Time is when I hit the elevator and it goes up, because this is the end of it. It's a fun challenge to hone your skills in platforming, and done. Easy peasy, first try. Look at him go.
And yes, I most people when they first try that, it will take you like an hour.
Best dialogue line in the game about to come out.
So, you solved all the puzzles?
Sure did. Fair and square. My brain hurts.
Fair and square. My brain hurts.
Yeah, fair and square. We definitely didn't at all. Yeah, totally did that.
Yeah.
As intended.
Yeah. Looks like it to me. I love that we got to have just like a gauntlet tonight with you where you did a super glitchy run, you did a super boss fight, and then some platforming. So
Yeah, just why not?
A little taste of everything.
World record's down to 132, which I did last night. I just haven't... Ooh, I forgot to clip those. Oh, well. I'll do it later. But yeah, that was fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on again.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I didn't bomb
Thanks
it
for
this
dragging me
time.
along.
Yeah, everything went great tonight, so heckin' GG's on that. I want to give you both a chance to give out any shout outs you'd like, let people know where to find you and what to expect if they come to your channels.
So I'm Kios. Give a shout out to a system integrator I worked with, our friends at SkyTech, who were pretty gracious with helping me build a system that could consistently blast this game at 120 FPS as needed. But you can find me all over the internet at Kios Little Monster. If you are a sensitive child, and maybe not child, but a more family-friendly type person, you might find me a bit more abrasive than normal and a bit brash, but that's okay. Everybody's welcome, and it's always a comfy time.
Smart ass.
I'm Alfina. I stream occasionally. Mostly I'm lurking in Kios' stream, trying to keep everybody in line and failing. If you do come by my channel, you'll see not 15 content, but lots of other heavy RNG speedruns.
Shoutouts to Zaboid Gaming.
Yeah.
Ready for this?
GG. All right, chat, we're going to go ahead and take another break, but this is not the end of No Category Left Behind tonight. Coming up next, we've got some Shovel Knight with the Four Houses run. And then, of course, afterwards, we have some speed runs from the crypt, so make sure to stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey, all you cool cats and gamers! Welcome back to No Category Left Behind, the GDQ Hotfix show that showcases category extension speedruns. I'm your host, Nuclear, and I've got with me Vasu, running Shovel Knight 4 houses. Before we get into that, though, just want a quick reminder to everyone that if you want to follow what Games Done Quick is up to, use command links into his chat for all things GDQ. Also, your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel help support Games Done Quick Hotfix. Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the daily speedrunning content. With that, I'm going to go ahead and pass things over to Vasu to tell us what this run is all about and get us started. Take it away.
Hi, yeah, so my name is Vasu. I'm going to be running 4 houses. So in Shovel Knight, there's this side mode called Joustus, which is a card game. And the goal for this category is to defeat the four bosses in the 4 card houses. So there's going to be 16 card houses in total, and we're going to defeat them all. And so to start, we have to just enter this cheat code. And this is going to unlock all the card houses so we can skip the platforming stages. This mode's actually in the King Knight mode of Shovel Knight. Okay, and then some of the other rules are that we're not allowed to buy anything from Chester. So Chester has these special powers, which makes defeating the card duels kind of trivial. So we're not allowed to use those. We're also not allowed to use random cards from treasure chests. We are allowed to pick up non-random cards. And so when we start out, our deck is going to be kind of weak, and as we go along, we're going to slowly, as we win duels, we'll get a more powerful deck. Okay, cool. So I think that's everything.
Right. Sounds good. If you want to give us a countdown, we'll get started.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is actually not go to the card house. We're going to pick up a card over here. And this is a more powerful card, and it's just going to make things a bit more consistent for us. So it's about a 20-second time loss, but for now, I think it's probably best. This is something that I've been doing even during my PB attempts as well. It's pretty helpful just to get this one powerful card. And this is the tutorial, and normally I'd skip it, but I think it'd be useful just for the stream today to play through it just so everyone understands how Joustus is played. So I'm going to go through the tutorial. So it says, to win Joustus, you have to claim more gems than your opponent. To start, take a card from your hand and place it on the board. If your card covers a gem, you claim it, but you can't just place a card onto a gem, you have to push it on. Arrows indicate which direction your card can push. Push the card you already placed to claim the gem. As you can see, I claim the gem by pushing your card up. Push the card right to reclaim the gem for yourself. Oh, you see, you can't push there. Your card is blocked by an opposing arrow. So if you look, I have a left arrow on the skeleton card, so that's why that doesn't work. There's still a way to push my card off the gem. You can insert your card in between. The match is almost over. The game ends when the center squares are full. Each player must place a card on their turn, but the only move I can will make me lose the game. So they only had left arrows there, so they had to put it in the empty spot. Okay, cool. So that's the tutorial. So hopefully that was helpful. Okay, so now let's get into the actual run.
I didn't even realize there was card playing in Shovel Knight until today, so...
Yeah. So yeah, you might notice that things are going a little bit more quickly now. That's because I'm going to be holding the speed up button throughout this entire run. And what that does is it makes the AI play faster. So if you, let me get into the tool. If you look in the bottom right, where that, like that fast forward sign is, where it says R, if I'm holding that and it's green, that means I'm in fast forward and the AI is moving more quickly. So we definitely want to be doing that pretty much the entire time. And it's one of the very big ways to save time. Okay. So as I'm going along, we're going to be winning cards. If we, what happened there was I got a gem sweep, which means you can take 3 cards if your cards cover all the gems on the board. But it wasn't very useful there because that person doesn't have any good cards, so it's actually just a bit of a time loss. Okay. I'm going to edit my deck now. So if you look here, this is your deck. And as we were going along, we picked up all these cards, so I'm just going to add them to my deck. I try not to add them after every duel, as it is a bit of a time loss, so you want to just add them when it's helpful. Okay, so this is the first card house boss, Black Knight, and each boss in the game has a special ability. So Black Knight's he has this ability called, I think it's Meteor Smash, and what it'll do is you can see that fire on the board. It's going to blow up all the cards in that row and return them to your deck. And importantly, the boss will lose their turn when they do that. So sometimes it's helpful for us actually, because they're going to be giving up their turn. Something else you're going to notice is that there's some cards that have a funny looking arrow on them, and that is a double arrow. Hold on. And what that does is it can push cards in the opposite direction of opposing arrows. So that's why we got the King Primador card, because that was a double arrow card. And at this point, our deck is very weak relative to Black Knights. So having just that one extra double arrow card is very useful. This is actually bad. I'm going to lose this one. Okay. That's okay. This is actually the least consistent duel in the game. And that's because at this point, the relative strength of our deck to the opponent's decks is kind of at its greatest. Our deck is still really bad at this point, and their deck is really good.
I know you mentioned earlier you can gain opponents' cards. Can you lose your cards if you lose a fight like that?
Yeah, so something that's interesting about this category is as you lose, it actually becomes a little bit harder each time to win afterwards because you'll lose your cards. So you don't want to lose too much. But it's, I think, random which cards your AI picks each duel, so they usually won't pick your best one.
That's good at least.
Okay, so yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I should probably try to focus a little bit, not losing again. Yeah, actually, this is bad. I'm going to lose again. That's okay, though. So this one can take a few tries. Something else I didn't mention yet is you can see the 3 cards in your opponent's hand. So when you're strategizing, it's really useful to pay attention to what those cards are and try to play around them. And we'll see that more later on. Okay. So yeah, that wasn't too bad. It was like 3rd try or something, but overall, not too bad. Okay. So that's the first card house, and yeah, Black Knight is the worst duel, so nice that we got that done. Moving into the second card house, we're going to be seeing some different types of cards. So in the second card house, I think it's based off Plague Knight and Mole Knight. So there's going to be these bomb cards, and those blow up people's cards. So we'll see that in a sec. Oh, also, so this is something interesting. When I first started running this, I didn't really think about my movement through these levels, but someone else has recently picked up the category and they saved so much time just with movement. So it is something to think about, which I'm still working on. I think they could save like 20 or 30 seconds over my time just by moving through the levels more quickly. So you may have seen me use that special item there. Okay. This person's AI is kind of silly because for the most part, they just place cards on the side, on the left side, and they kind of ignore the gem. And again, I think it's just to teach you how these bomb cards work. And they basically will explode your cards, and they'll also explode those rocks on the board. Okay, so I'm gonna add these cards that we got again to my deck. Okay. So this next person is the Blob. And their deck is really funny because they have 3 really powerful cards. And then they have the whole rest of their deck is just blob cards, which have a single arrow pointing down. So this is a great example of a duel where if you pay attention to what cards your opponent has, it's really easy to play around. Because at this point, they just have down arrow cards. So this is one of the easier duels in the game. Okay, and I'm gonna grab this card. Again, like, we have all these special items because we use that cheat code, and you can use them to move around the levels pretty fast, but still working on that. Okay. So I don't think I've mentioned too much my strategy for this. What I usually try to do is, if you remember from the tutorial, you can't place cards directly on gems. So what you want to do is place them in the spots surrounding gems. So that way, if a card moves, people are going to be forced to push it onto your card. Or you can put it on, or push it onto a gem, rather. Or you can do that. So, didn't add that. Okay. So in general, my first move is always going to be adjacent to a gem. And as you go along, you're going to push your cards onto those gems. Mona's special ability, so she's the boss of the second card house, is that she'll transform some cards into other cards. So let's see this right here. So yeah, her card got turned into that mouse card. Again, she has to give up her turn here. So because of that, you know, we can just win right away like that. So most of the time, Black Knight's kind of the exception. The boss powers are actually very helpful for us. Okay, so yeah, that second card house went much better than the first. Alright. In the third card house, each opponent is going to have a different theme to their deck. And the AIs of the computers are going to be a little bit better as well. So in the first one, you're going to see some holes in the board. And when there's a hole in the board, it just means you have to fill it up first. So you have to place a card there to fill in the hole. And then after that, you can place a card on top. So these duels will generally take a little bit longer than the others just because the board is essentially a little bit bigger. It has this sort of third dimension to it. But usually at this point, our deck is pretty strong relative to our opponent. So the third card house is one of the easier ones. Okay, so I got a gem sweep there. So that means I can take 3 cards. And here it's pretty useful because these are all double arrow cards. So I'm going to add all these to the deck. Okay, and then this next duel, this propeller person, they have these cards that will flip cards. So if you have a blue card, it'll become red, and the red cards will become blue. That's what that little symbol. I guess I forgot to mention this. In the bottom left corner of some cards, you might see like a special symbol, and that means there's like a special ability associated with that card. So yeah, you can see it right there. I'm actually gonna lose this duel. So I'll just forfeit. I know I'm gonna lose the duel because the 2 gems on the bottom right were stuck in place, and there wasn't anything I could do to like move them out of the way. So if you recognize you're gonna lose, it's best to just forfeit right away so you can start over again and not waste time. Alright, so this looks pretty good this time, so. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this card. So as you can see, our deck is, at this point, almost entirely different from what it was originally. We've replaced most of the cards in our deck at this point. It's pretty good. This person's special cards are these conveyor belt cards that after you place them down, they're going to keep moving like that. But they kind of move twice. Okay. Okay. And then the last part of this house are these cute puppies. So there's 3 of them. They're called the Spin Wolves. I think there's 3 of them because they're sort of representing the 3 different themes of the card house. So this person will have the flippy cards and the conveyor belt cards, and they have their special ability there, which you just saw, which digs up gems and puts them in a different location. And that sort of means that this duel often takes the longest, just because the placement of gems keeps changing. So an up arrow here would be really nice, but I don't have one yet. Okay, well, I do. Okay, yeah, so that was a corner case that just happened there. The board wasn't full, but they didn't have any moves, and their boss ability doesn't count as a move there. So if you're wondering why the duel just ended like that, even though they were about to use their boss ability, which technically takes up a turn, for the end of game rule, it doesn't count. So yeah, that's a bit of a strange case, but yeah. Anyways, so we're coming on the final card house. And what I'm going to be doing right here is using this special item again, just to move through this more quickly. I'm also just to make the end of the duel, or end of this run a little bit more consistent. Normally I wouldn't do this, but today I think I will, just to make it more consistent. I'm going to grab these 2 extra cards up here. These are pretty out of the way, so during PB attempts, I don't usually grab these. But one of the more annoying duels is coming up, so I think I will here. In the last card house, there's these triple arrow cards, which are basically the same as double arrows. They can push against opposing arrows on the board. but they can also push double arrows out of the way. The downside of triple arrow cards is that the arrows on them will disappear after 3 turns. And the skeleton person also has this other ability where they can place some cards out of bounds. So that's what the little skeleton in the bottom left corner of some cards means. This is actually not good. I have to stall for a turn. Oh, no, it's okay. Okay, yeah, I was just trying to figure out how to strategize that. Okay. That opponent is interesting because almost their entire deck is just horizontal arrows. They only have 2 cards that have vertical arrows on them. So it's really helpful when you're trying to make your moves to just be mindful of what type of deck each character in the game has.
It's amazing to me how fast, though, you're able to think on your feet during these matches.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of practice, I think. This duel right here is the most annoying one in the game. You're going to notice that there's 4 gems instead of the usual 3. And that's really annoying because a lot of the time it'll end in a 2-2 draw. So you just have to be more careful. That's why I grabbed all those extra triple arrow cards, just to hopefully prevent a bunch of draws from happening. So this is usually like after you get past this point in a run, like you know you're gonna PB, but this can sometimes end your run. But this looks okay, so I want to do it. So Field Knight's a little weird because her cards will flip, and if I play her, they're gonna push their card down. I think I need to just stall for a turn, so. Yeah. Okay. So I know at this point I won because all of the cards that are on gems are stuck in place and they can't move anywhere. Sorry, that was a little redundant, yeah. But once you're stuck in place, then you know you have that gem claimed. Okay. So yeah, that's probably the most annoying. I think Black Knight's the least consistent, but that one can be very annoying. It's also a pretty big board, so it can be a big time loss if you end up losing. So the next person's this ninja, and when you're trying to face them, you can't get spotted or else he won't duel you. So that's why I had to leave the room and re-enter, because he saw me. He was like walking upside down on the ceiling there. Okay. But in terms of the duel itself, this one's pretty easy at this point because our deck is just very strong, and it sort of trivializes a lot of them. So usually, you know, it's always possible to get unlucky or to make mistakes. But usually this one's pretty easy. Okay. And so we're coming up on the last duel of the game. And so the final boss is kind of funny. Their special ability is that if you play too slowly, you'll lose your turn. But we're not going to play too slowly, so it's going to be okay. They also have cards from they have all the different types of cards that we've seen. So they'll have the triple arrow cards, they'll have the flip cards, and they'll have the bomb cards and the conveyor belt cards. Yeah, usually this one's pretty easy, unless sometimes since it's at the end, you can be a little nervous and lose around that way, but.
It's ironic that the first boss is the most difficult and the last boss is one of the easiest.
Yeah. Right. Yep. Okay, so that's time.
GG.
Yeah, I think that went pretty well. What was my time for it?
Have to wait on the delay to see what the time is, but looking around 22:39.
Nice. And we went through the whole tutorial. So yeah, it was a good time. Cool. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks for reaching out to me about this. This is definitely a game I wouldn't have found on my own, so I appreciate you reaching out. It's fun to showcase some of these games that aren't as well known. I also, real quick, Vasu, want to give you a chance to shout out anything you'd like and let people know where to find you and what to expect if they come to your channel.
Oh, sure. So yeah, if you're interested in trying to play some Joustus or just any other Shovel Knight speedruns, Shovel Knight, King Knight, Plague Knight, Respector Knight, you can join the Shovel Knight Discord. If you want to see more runs of this, you can follow me on Twitch. Also, this is maybe a little random, but I make some little games on itch.io, so if you are interested in some obscure video games, they're kind of like video game zines, you can check out my itch.io page. And last, if you're able to, please donate to support earthquake recovery efforts in Turkey and Syria. There's a really bad earthquake there that affected millions of people. So, that's all I really have to say.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you for plugging in about that earthquake recovery. That's a huge thing going on right now. So definitely, if you're able to chat, look into that because a lot of people are hurting from that. Thank you so much, Vasu, for coming on. It's a fun little run. Chat, that is the end of No Category Left Behind for the night, but make sure to stay tuned because we do have speed runs from the crypt coming up next after this. If you've enjoyed watching this show and want to learn more about it, feel free to follow me at twitch.tv/nuclear and come and ask about the show there, or let me know if you're interested in coming on the show. We'd love to have more category extension speedruns. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to press that like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Also go to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick if you're interested in looking at our live content starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's it. Everyone stay tuned. We'll be back real soon with speedruns from the crypt.